Um, right, we're live on StreamYard. I'm just going to start the room on Clubhouse. We are live streaming on Saturday to LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Clubhouse.
Good morning, everybody, on a Saturday morning.
Yes,
Saturday's
indeed.
always busy sports morning for a dad that's got 3 kids.
Indeed. So it's about fitting in business around family and all those sort of things. It's what you got to do, right?
Absolutely.
Indeed, yes, for sure. So we today are talking about, we've been speaking a lot about lately about business growth. Well, we're always talking about business growth, but I thought it would be a good idea to maybe have a chat about the things that can be a pitfall for businesses that are in business growth, and maybe some of the things they're not expecting or not preparing for. I think that's the big word. They're not preparing for some of these things that might pop up. Or their preparation hasn't been sufficient to enable the business growth to be smooth.
Yeah. So, look, I think so some of the things I guess I've found myself the hard way, and also what I tend to look for when I'm helping other people expand their business is, what does the business look like today? And often people are looking to grow, and maybe things aren't actually that sound with the way the business is existing. And so typically what will happen there is that, if you've got a few problems floating around in the existing business, then you're likely to accentuate that by expanding at that time. So sometimes people think that growth will solve all the problems, and that can be the case.
Yes.
But if you haven't got everything buttoned down nice and tight in the existing stage of the business, existing part of the business, you will just end up creating, the same issues, replicating the same issues, and have more of them. So everything that we go through in all our Navigate Biz stuff is about getting that structure right, getting the foundations right. And then obviously going for growth. So we highly believe that everyone should be growing, but we also know that most people haven't got the setup and their structure right so they've got to go backfill that stuff. So the things we talk about there, if we go through, is, one is have you got your mindset right? Right. Have you got a plan? Have you gone through? Do you understand the market size? Do you understand the market opportunity? The competitive landscape. The world famous Joanne Brooks one-page business plan. Have you gone through and done that? Are you looking at that every day? All of those things. And then have you got your team?
Yes, and as
are you part of the Navigate team?
Exactly. Who are you surrounding yourself with? And as you know, Nick, and we've shared a few times, I experienced exponential growth in a very short space of time. And whilst rapid growth is possible, it had a lot of back end work being done at the same time. So people perceive this was as a overnight success. But we had the plan. We knew precisely what we wanted to do. And one of the notes I made in preparation for this conversation today is there's a lot of businesses out there that make the choice to go, we're going to expand, we're growing massively, we've got a big order, let's go and grab a bunch of people to bring into the business. And so the pitfall of that is, are you hiring well? Is it part of the plan? And do you need to hire them? Is contractors going to solve the problem immediately? Because hiring people is an expensive big commitment. Are they casual? Are they part-time, full-time? So yes, you can hire quickly, but you need to make sure you hire well and at the right format that suits the business today, because you may not have the cash flow now, but you've got this big contract and cash flow is going to come in later. So, the lack of preparation in your cash flow for all these things that need to be done could slip you up,
Yeah. Hey, again, preparation is key. And that's all around. Hey, as you just mentioned, you grew fast, it got tricky. Hey, I at 27, 28 years old, grew a business really fast at that time, 0 to 100 million, and in the space of 5 years, really, from zero. And but I was constantly going back and backfilling, and I had mentors, because at that stage, I'd already spent 17, 18 years prior to that, and in a business environment with mentors, and I knew how important that was, and I had mentors with me. So even when my business partner, 3 years and 2.5, 3 years in, passed away suddenly, unfortunately, unexpected, but because I had a structure and I was constantly going back and backfilling, and I was committed.
Yeah.
I had a plan. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew where we needed to be. Didn't make it easy, but it meant that I could keep it all on the rails. I could keep that
back to that plan.
I could keep that growth, that keep expanding the extra people. Yes, it continually needed fine-tuning. There's no easy, super easy path, but there is easier paths. And by having, having mentors around,
the right people
having the right people around, that had been there and done that.
Yes.
That they had the runs on the board. The people that I could, use as sounding boards, as we do here at Navigate Biz and in the Biz Nation community. But the plan, and how is it going to be financed? How are we going to finance this growth?
Yeah.
Have we thought about where we want to be, beyond our wildest dreams, and then how will that happen?
And the thing about your plan, I think a lot of people, we need to really remind them is, yes, have a plan, but it's always a work in progress. So things happen, like you've had things happen in business, and maybe it meant a slight detour from that plan, and that plan is something that evolves and adjusts, because you might have this goal and the pathway you perceive is that way. Well, maybe it's left and right turns to get to that point. So the plan is not something that you stick to. You stick to it from the perspective that it gives you a roadmap, but there might be some detours along the way, but the end goal is still always there, right?
So it's really important. You think of it, it's the holiday in the car, in the caravan journey, where, hey, this is where we want to get to, but as we go along, there could be places we want to veer off to and have a look, and that happens in the marketplace. Hey, this has popped up. The economy's it's sped up here, or it's dropped down there. We've seen an opportunity. So you need to be flexible in business. You need to be flexible, but you do need to have an overarching plan, an overarching goal. You need to be able to communicate that to your suppliers, your team members, your staff, your contractors, your customers, where you're heading, and above all, just get everybody else, on in behind you, pulling for you in that they believe in that as well. And that creates momentum. And, we talk about that a lot, don't we? In all our stuff, we talk about creating momentum.
Building a pathway.
Creating momentum on your own is very difficult.
It's hard.
But as soon as you start pulling, even if you're not got other staff members, but you've got mentors, suppliers, even customers. You start to generate momentum with those people going, if you can communicate. So one is very difficult to communicate what your plan in business is if you haven't got it. If you don't know what it is, you haven't got one, you haven't communicated it to yourself, you're not going to be able to communicate it to anyone else. When you're clear on that, then you can start to go and communicate it, build momentum, and then you can go, to really start taking market share out there in your marketplace.
And the thing about your business plan, or and even your one-page business plan, which we've used it, I've used it many times to build engagement, as you say, with suppliers and my circle of influence and mentors that I've got. Now, those people could be your accountants, your lawyer, your financier, whether that's a broker, whether that's your banker. But when growth comes, when that big contract comes, or the momentum has been building, because you've been having those conversations with those people, they can then step in when they're needed. So, this growth might mean that you need additional capital, and it might need you need to borrow, might need to get investors. Well, by that time, you're so comfortable talking about the plan that you've got, where it's going, the successes you've had, and the hiccups along the way, because gosh, in business, there's always a hiccup of some
sort.
Yeah,
there's always some speed bumps.
There's always something.
Yeah.
But to have had that continual conversation with these people, even if you don't need their services immediately, they're on board, they understand where you're going. And so there's better chance that you're successful, particularly if it's finance or investors. You've built a tribe of people who get what you're about. And they may be able to help you with those
and
things.
And as you go through that, you know, there will be the ones say, hey, you know, maybe, oh, you'll never do that, or you're growing too fast, or you're getting ahead of yourself. Hey, if you've got the plan, and that, you know, you've got your structure in place, and you've mapped it out, not to perfection, but you've got you've got basically a broad brush map of where you want to be, basically how get there, and you've gone back and checked the data points. Is there enough market there? You know, have you done the competitor analysis?
Have you got the data to back it up?
Yeah. And then go down and sit down, sit down with your financiers, your bankers, your tier 2 lender, whoever that might be, your investors, supporters of the business, and say, hey, look, this is where we're going this year, next year. This is what we're going to need. I want you to understand where we're at now. I don't need anything right now, but it's going to come up. And when we go and talk about it in 6 months or 3 months or 9 months, whatever, I want you to be aware of this conversation, because I'm going to go from here to here, and when I get there, I'm going to need some help.
I need your support. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, even now I do that. You know, even in the start of the year in January, I'll sit down with banks, and say, hey, this is where we're going this year. You know, this is what I want you guys to come on the journey, and this is what we're going to need. And then, hey, as you get through that part of the year, now, you know, you're never too small or too big to do that.
Exactly.
Because you need that momentum from those people. You know, you need to generate that excitement. So if you're thinking about growth, are you excited about that growth?
Yes, exactly. You know, and that speaks back to passion, speaks back to commitment, why you started the business. So, you know, business growth, as we always speak about, is where you're going to build that protection mode around business failure, business, you know, we all have business challenges, but we need you to get to 2 million or more, 5 staff or more. And if that doesn't get you excited, you need to go back to why, your purpose. Why does this business exist? But if that fires you up in your belly, well, that's what we're about. That's what Biz Bootcamp is about.
Find the number is, you know, if you're sitting there and your business is turning over 0 or 20 or 200,000 a year, it was say, hey, we've got all the coursework, we've got all the pathway there to get you beyond 2 million. Now, if that doesn't excite you, then is it 20 million? Is it 200 million? Is it 2 billion? What's the number that excites you? And then let's get cranking in that. But you do need to get the structure right in the business. So that said, we've got the Biz Bootcamp coming up.
We have 15th of April. It starts. It actually starts on the 14th, because it was pointed out to me that is Good Friday. But yeah, public holidays notwithstanding, we're starting on the 14th. There's a fabulous gift box to send to you. But this is where you can actually put that plan in place, right? Build the plan. Get excited about your business again, or reignite it, or just give it some more fuel. That is where you're going to be speaking to Nick and I for 56 days. How good is that?
And hey, if you're serious about growing your business, that Biz Bootcamp has got all the tools. And if you're the sort of person who says, oh, I don't have time for that, I'd love to do it, but I just don't have time. You know what? By just a quirk of our planning, hey, that is getting released. It is over the Easter break. And if you're too busy over the Easter break for your business, well, hey, you know, I guess we can't really help you there. But that is the perfect opportunity where, you know, there's not a lot going on for 4 days. You know, those public holidays through that Easter break. You know, there's a lot of shutdown there, and it actually, if you are serious about digging in, making a change in your life, making a change in your business, then it is actually the perfect time, because you will be able to dive straight in that, undistracted, no interruptions, and then get a really good head start on 56-day program. So Biz Bootcamp, go and check out www.navigatebiz.com and go and register there for that Biz Bootcamp before that closes up. Life change. Every single person that has gone through that Biz Bootcamp over the last couple of years has had a massive, massive impact on that. If you want that massive impact for you and your business, then go and jump into it.
Indeed. And all the past Business Bootcampers, it's been about growth. They've put more staff on, they've taken out new locations, and all with such excitement. So that's what we want for everybody else, right? So come and join us, check it out. Can't wait to see you. And we'll be back live here on Monday. You have an awesome weekend.
And please, if you've found one little ounce of value out of this, please do us a great big favor. Go and jump into YouTube at Navigate Biz, or just go on the search function, find Navigate Biz, and go and subscribe, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers in there. So please give us a hand. Help us get there.
Help us get there. See you soon. Have an awesome weekend, and go jump into registering for Biz Bootcamp.
Great. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you Monday.
See you. Ta-da.
Catch you.
Bye.